Got an old school matchup played the old school way by some old school players. Wow, that was a cringe start. Shush you. We have Shogunnik versus Leopard. Two players. I think Leopard played more Warhammer 2. He's coming back to Warhammer 3 recently. And Shogunnik I used to play with in Warhammer 2, but also came back recently. And this matchup is a bit of a throwback. Dark Elves Dwarves was quite common at the end of Warhammer 2. Neither faction was incredible, but both were solid. And they were played more like this. We have 3 Dark Riders in the Vanguard to sweep up anybody who routes, and then it's a Sister of Slaughter, Harganeth Executioner Rush, which I know that sounds like Mimi, but it was actually meta back then. Because Sisters of Slaughter are strangely tanky in melee combat, and Harganeth Executioners can rip through even the most stalwart of dwarves. We also have the Sisters of Singing Doom for a bit of terror and madness, and then some Black Ark Corsairs and Bleak Swords on the front line. We have a Supreme Sorceress of Shadows in the sky on a dragon with Pit of Shades and Melkoth. So a Dragon Lord without Soul Stealer is bold. Now on the other side for the Dwarves, we do have 2 Gyrocopters with Brimstone guns for some Lord Snipe. Quarrelers, Dwarf Warriors, and Miners with Blasting Charges across the front line. Thunderers too. And then we do have the Goblobber, Grudge Thrower, Regiment of Renown, a Cannon, and then some Slayers to defend them. With Thoric Ironbrow, not on his anvil, just on foot as like a rune caster, Rune of Wrath, Rune of Slowness. You are seeing a bit of this. Now, Dark Riders should wait and try and sweep up things that are already routing or already almost dead because they just cannot get through Quarrelers. Quarrelers' 80 armor and impressive melee stats make them just too much of an opponent for Dark Riders. So, unfortunately, bad start here for the Dark Elves. As one of their Dark Riders is chased off the map by the Gyrocopter's Brimstone guns. The other one is just routing naturally. And the frontline fight is already looking brutal. It always does versus the Dwarves, where those blasting charges do a ton of damage, and Quarrelers are also really hurting the Sisters of Singing Doom, who are on their way in. Quarrelers and Miners hitting the Sisters of Slaughter, taking about half their HP off as Slayers run forward to meet them in melee combat, but the Sisters should make short work of the Slayers in melee. But a follow-up Rune of Wrath and Ruin hurts the Bleak Swords, but a Pit of Shades is out to counteract the Thunderers. It looks like it was Overcast. Because you don't take the slight overcast damage when Thoric's not on his anvil. So it must have been a real overcast. Now, Sisters of Singing Doom are in combat over here with the Miners with Blasting Charges. They got through that area, and Harganeth Executioners are starting to streak in now. And this is where things could start turning in the favor of the Dark Elves. The Supreme Sorceress is going to go after this Gyrocopter and try and push it away. The Dark Riders rallied in the distance. Where's that healthy Dark Rider? They were back here, right? They get routed off the map while I wasn't looking? Because I don't see him anymore. Well, rip. Supreme Sorceress gets a breath attack on the Quarrelers, but Leopard gets them into a thin formation, so they can't be affected by it anymore. Murderous Prowess is now popped, giving these guys a little bit more leadership to stay in the fight. And the Supreme Sorceress actually just dives in to stop the Quarrelers from firing. I don't hate that. Elsewhere, Bleak Swords are disrupting the backline and being a bit of a pain in the butt. The Blades of the Blood Queen have taken a ton of damage. I imagine it was from some of these blasting charges. Yeah, with 670 value on them, they for sure hit the Blades of the Blood Queen with their blasting charges. But the Blades of the Blood Queen will be fearsome combatants at this point. And especially these guys, these Harganeth Executioners that still have a ton of HP. Well, I say that as they get rock dropped, so now they don't, but they'll kill a ton of stuff. Sisters of Slaughter trying to come back. We have 1 healthy Sister of Slaughter, 2 quite damaged but functional Harganeth Executioners left, and they're going to try and carry this game. Dark Elves are way behind the balance of power, and I for sure agree. As Dark Riders come streaking back in, they're trying to get a charge bonus to keep them in this fight. 0 leadership, but it spikes up to 18 as they get close enough so they get that little buff and they land on the Quarrelers. Blades of the Blood Queen need to refocus onto things that actually matter, and Bleak Swords are trying to chase down those Thunderers to keep them from shooting at the Supreme Sorcerers of Shadows. That armor-piercing straight-line shot is really the only thing she's afraid of right now. Sisters of Slaughter finally wake back up and get back into the fight. A little bit of a delay from them there, which will hurt them. Harganeth Executioners killed off some Dwarves. Now they're fighting Slayers, and they'll chop through those guys super easily. Blades of the Blood Queen are also back in it. Though Murderous Mastery only has 30 seconds left. Murderous Prowess just wore off now, so the Dark Elf army is starting to get debuffed again, losing their army passive. A good little spike of balance of power they're attempting as they try and shut down both artillery pieces and keep army losses at bay. Gyrocopter still hunting down this Sorceress who has no healing. No Soul Stealer for her. Blades of the Blood Queen killing off some Dwarf Warriors quite quickly as far as things go. In the distance, Sisters of Slaughter get up onto the high ground, kill off these Quarrelers, and with 44 speed, they're I mean, compared to dwarves, they're pretty much cavalry, so there's no outrunning them. And these Argonath Executioners, man, since we last saw them, they've been doing good against those Slayers. And now Slayers they just have bad options. They're going to go fight Bleak Swords, but Slayers don't want to fight Chaff. They don't want to fight armored anti-infantry, elite infantry. So Slayers are out of things to do. They want to fight the Dragon or the Dark Riders. Argonath Executioners get up to the Quarrelers, murder them on the charge. They're just dead. Goodbye, Quarrelers. Another bomb drop on them. Ow. Blades of the Blood Queen finished off another Dwarf Warrior. Once again, they need orders onto someone who's not routing. They just keep killing things, so their player forgets about them briefly. Quick little breath attack on a Dwarf Warriors does a ton of damage. The Dark Elves are still just riding real low on the balance of power. But this could be a good moment. Blackheart Corsairs trying to kill off Thunderers and Quarrelers who have a lot of ammunition, and that cannon needs to be stopped as the Supreme Sorceress of Shadow lands in. She's also going to throw out a Pit of Shades, but a counter Rune of Wrath and Ruin murders some Sisters of Slaughter. That is a very expensive unit to lose in that way. Gyrocopters continuing to pin cushion this poor Supreme Sorceress. And everybody's taking a lot of damage. Everybody is quite depleted as our Gyrocopters are going to quickly become just aerial dog units that can chase off stuff that's already routing. There go the Thunderers, there go the Quarrelers. Sisters of Slaughter are going to finish off the Slayers. The Slayers down to 5 models. And Thoric being full health is probably an artificial inflation of this balance of power. Though I guess he is actually a pretty solid melee combatant. 45-45 with armor piercing weapon strength. Yeah, he's fine. And he's poisoned right now, but he's doing okay. As Dwarf Warriors and Miners try and hold back the Blades of the Blood Queen, it will not be done. As these Blades, down to 20 models out of 100, but they're still fearsome. They're spinning through these Dwarves like nobody's business. The other Argonath Executioners also rejoining the fight. Supreme Sorceress of Shadows down to less than 1,000 HP, but the Gyrocopters are all out of ammunition. They try and just take the fight to her for now, and they're actually getting in decent hits with a charge of 25, I suppose. Oh my god, they're going to break her. Ah, she gets broken by the Gyrocopters. That's hilarious and sad. So the whole of the Dark Elf hope is now on the Blades of the Blood Queen, Argonath Executioners, the Almost Dead Sisters of Slaughter, and the Almost Dead Sisters of Singing Doom. Balance of power has been terrible for them for quite a while, but it's kind of stabilized into just like a same level of terribleness. And this Sister of Slaughter that's been out of the game for a while is actually still killing off some stuff over in some pond water. Thunderers trying to finish off the Supreme Sorceress of Shadows to cause that big leadership spike that could maybe rout off these Sisters of Slaughter, whose leadership is at 31 despite their extremely wounded state. And they're fighting back. They got rear charged by Gyrocopters, but it's not going to be enough to break them, and they could really hurt those Gyrocopters if they turn and dealt with it. Gyrocopters can get out of here. As the Rampage causing Sisters of Singing Doom are coming in, Thoric's taking a lot of damage in this fight, even Rampages, so he can't cast any runes on himself at the moment. Thunderers trying to peel off Sisters of Slaughter that are running straight at them. With a bronze shield and 5 armor, they should take decent damage from these Thunderers. As they have reloaded, got another shot off. Another brisk 100 damage off the Sisters. And Thoric stopped rampaging for now as he still fights Sisters of Slaughter on the high ground. Gyrocopters will get a rear charge in. They're trying to kill off that thing. Supreme Sorceress is still routing. Sisters got into melee combat. 5 leadership goes up to 14. They do rout off the Thunderers. Nothing can stop these ladies. And Sisters of Singing Doom even join the area to save it. Balance power is still horrendous for the Dwarves, but there is like nothing left on the field for either side. The Thunderers shatter. Thoric does manage to rout the Sisters of Slaughter, and the Argonath Executioners are here fighting Dwarf Warriors, cleaving through those guys. And this is a very concerning moment for the Dwarves, because these other Argonath Executioners are coming in for Thoric too. The Blades of the Blood Queen might rout, but these guys won't, and they'll make super short work of the Dwarven Lord. As I'll just watch his HP bar on the left hand here, you can keep an eye on it as it goes down. But he's losing HP by the hundreds, and the bounce power should be getting better for the Dark Elves. Dude, I love how resiliently the balance of power is like, nah, these guys are fucked. Supreme Sorceress of Shadows down to 20 HP. If those Gyrocopters can finish her off, there she goes. Is that enough of a leadership spike to get rid of these units? The Blades of the Blood Queen start routing. The Sisters of Slaughter think about leaving, but they aren't. And there's no one besides Thoric here, but the balance of power is still just like, nah, he's got it. It doesn't look like he's got it as he's down to 2,000 HP. Sisters of Slaughter getting low. If he has a Rune of Wrath and Ruin in the back pocket, maybe he can do it, but now he's rampaging. Gyrocopters also try and charge back in. They were rampaging, but now they need to actually just charge back in to try and save him, to try and buy time so that he can rally from this rampage and maybe throw a Rune of Wrath and Ruin on himself. Looks like maybe he did, or one of the Gyrocopters just died and caused an explosion. But the balance power is getting slowly better for the Dark Elves as Thork is down to 1,000 HP. Finally, he gets a Sister of Slaughter to rout, but the Sisters of Singing Doom and the Hargonite Executioner seem fine. He's actually going to Terror rout, and now the Gyrocopters are routing. Oh, okay. There's still a very healthy but no ammo Gyrocopter over there. I was like, what is even keeping the Dwarves in this game right now? Is that Gyrocopter's going to die? Thoric should rally. Nope, his leadership's negative. Now he's actually routing, and that could be the doom of the Dwarves. Blades of the Blood Queen are back. Thoric's getting chased down. And I don't think this one Gyrocopter can do much about it as Thoric keeps getting chopped apart. Balance power gets worse and worse. Both Gyrocopters are coming back. They have one charge where they can maybe get something done. They go flying into the Sisters of Singing Doom. The Sisters of Singing Doom actually spiked down to negative 11 leadership for just a second there, but they're fine now. Thoric is still getting killed off. And the Gyrocopters do a weird little spin in midair, but Thoric is officially dead. Their leadership spikes to nothing. Army losses hits. And that is a Dark Elf come from behind victory, pretty much by definition, because they were behind the whole game. Supreme Sorceress of Shadows did fine. Hargonite Executioners, the Blades of the Blood Queen actually did less good than the normal ones, but I think most of that value came from Thoric. They both got a ton of kills. Between them, they got, what is that, 370-ish kills of the 1,300. So that's like, I don't know, a third-ish. No, more like a quarter. Those two units killed like a quarter of the army. Sisters of Slaughter also did great. Sisters of Singing Doom did very, very well. Blackrock Corsairs did fine. Bleak Swords did okay. And the Dark Riders all just got massacred. For Leopard, Thork, he did okay. He was a good little supportive guy. Both artillery just around paid for themselves, which is fine. Slayers got murdered. Brimstone Guns both did fantastically. Quarrelers, more mixed. Thunderers got run down most of the game. Dwarf Warriors tried to hold. Miners Blasting Charges did overall very well. GG. Roar.
Subscribe, yes, yes.